All right. Some good news. Errol Spence Jr. is showing film of himself back in the gym. Now, you don't get to see him throw punches and anything like that, but he's actually in the gym. It's not a rumor that he's out there training. He's actually out there in the gym. And so we can expect there to be a lot of people that are going to start calling him out. The man that he fights Terrence Crawford, the man that he fights somebody right now. He says he wants to fight the next guy. Don't need to take tune-ups or anything like that. He's ready to go. Let's talk about that and hopefully pump the brakes in this video. All right, welcome back. Extremely happy to see Errol Spence Jr. In the gym. He walks into his gym. I'm not going to show the footage of that. You can get the footage. I believe that's going to be on his Instagram page. Also, Boxing Ego has a video up about it that I did see this morning. So a video of his alerted me to this. So, shout out to him for his content. And he actually has the footage from Errol Spence Jr.'s Instagram. And Errol Spence Jr. was like, yep, back in the gym, back in my second home, just excited. And the thing that was good about it is at the end of it, he sounded really, really excited. Like, yeah, back in the gym. Now, if I was him, I would be extremely happy too, because Errol Spence Jr. has got to be one of the most blessed human beings on the face of this earth. On a sad note, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant and everybody else that, that passed away in that helicopter accident. It's a horrific thing, man. But I could not help but think about Errol Spence Jr. and the way that I felt the day that I found out that Errol Spence Jr. had been in a car accident, because I had actually been down to Dallas and met Errol Spence Jr. And he actually said something to me, man. It was, there's a couple things said when I was there that was like, wow. In retrospect, and I won't share them because they're kind of personal things. I was like, wow, that was like a ripple. That was like a ripple in the universe type of thing. You know what I mean? But I digress. I don't even want to get into too much of that. But I just remember that. And when I saw Kobe Bryant, I was just thankful. I was just like, man, I wanted to call Errol Spence's people, but I didn't. I just left it alone because, I didn't want to do that at that time. But, but I was thinking to myself, man, Errol Spence Jr. is one of the most blessed individuals ever, man. And to see that car flip over that many times and see, and for him to be able to get out and be in the position that he's in right now, he has to count himself to be one of the most blessed people in the world. And also he's got to really appreciate, I hope he does, it seems like he does from his excitement in that particular clip, that he really is very, very appreciative of the fact that he's back in the gym. Now, what he wants to do is he wants to get, according to the last interview that he had, is he really wants to get in there, and he doesn't feel like he needs to tune up because he really wasn't seriously injured or anything like that, other than some dental work. And, so the dental work and all that stuff is going to change how you talk. I'm quite sure there's still, there might be, it looks like there's some bruising around his face, even in that picture, but, he's probably, when Errol Spence Jr. looks different ways depending on where his weight is, because his face kind of fills out when he's not all the way down there at 147 pounds. When he's, floating at 155, 160 pounds, his face looks a little more full. But regardless, he says he wants to get right back in there. He wants to fight Manny Pacquiao next. He wants to fight Danny Garcia next. And, there's some, I feel him on that, and I understand his excitement. And there's some there are some pros to that, and there's some cons to that approach. The pros to the pros to that approach is that, one, he keeps his momentum. Errol Spence Jr. had before the accident, and he still does now, has a lot of momentum in his career. He went from somebody that was being avoided in 2016, 2017, and up into mid 2018, you know, he was somebody that was avoided. He was going through all kind of stuff in the WBC rankings to try to get a shot at Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him when he was the WBC and the WBA champion. Even when he beat Kell Brook to get the IBF, and Keith and Sean Porter became a champion at WBC, the WBC champion. Sean Porter didn't originally want to fight him, which is something I find really ironic about Sean Porter demanding a rematch with him. Like, Sean, don't you remember how much work Errol Spence Jr. had to do to get a fight with you in the first place? Errol Spence had to go all around the mulberry bush, run all the way around the mulberry bush to get to you to begin with, and then he beat you. Why should he immediately have to jump out there and give you another shot when it took you forever and a day to give him his? Man, sometimes, man, the logic of Sean Porter, man, it busts me up, man. I don't understand him. But anyway, you know, for that period of time, it was very difficult for him to get a fight against a top guy, even when he had a belt. So then, and credit to Mikey Garcia. When Mikey Garcia said, oh, all these other guys won't fight Errol Spence Jr., I'll fight Errol Spence Jr. And Mikey Garcia's name in the boxing world was as big as Sean Porter's and Keith Thurman's and the Danny Garcia's. You know, he started having a pretty high profile himself when he came back and he signed with the BBC. And he said, oh, if these guys don't want to fight Errol Spence Jr., I'll take Errol Spence Jr. And Errol Spence Jr. had his first big fight, and it did very well on pay-per-view. Now Errol Spence Jr. at that point, Errol Spence Jr. turned into something that everybody, you know, wants to fight, that, you know, everybody was looking at fighting. Even Terrence Crawford, and this is for you, Woolbag. This is for you, Woolbag, and drink more water. Even Terrence Crawford, when Terrence Crawford first started talking about moving to 147 pounds, he wasn't looking for Errol Spence Jr. either. He was looking for Keith Thurman. He said, and Bomac said, that they thought Keith Thurman was the best welterweight out there. So they wanted Keith Thurman. They weren't looking for Errol Spence Jr. It was only after Errol Spence Jr. beat Mikey Garcia that people really started pushing for Errol Spence Jr. to fight Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford wasn't even calling him out, wasn't saying his name. I remember having debates with people on my channel who shall remain nameless, although friends, that, you know, Errol Spence Jr. needs to call out Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford doesn't need Errol Spence doesn't need to. Terrence Crawford doesn't need to call out Errol Spence. Errol Spence Jr. needs to call out Terrence Crawford. All that garbage was going on. So there was up until Mikey Garcia, there wasn't a big call for Errol Spence Jr. But after that fight, then, he's on pay-per-view. Now these guys want to fight him. Now Danny Garcia wants to fight him. Sean Porter fought him, insisted, because I know that the reason why that fight was on pay-per-view was because in order for Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter to get the fight, I have it from good sources that Sean Porter was really pushing for that fight to be on pay-per-view when Errol Spence Jr. was like, I don't know really if that's a pay-per-view fight or not. But Sean Porter was like, no, it has to be on pay-per-view. And so they decided to put the fight on pay-per-view, and it did fairly well on pay-per-view. But now people want, I say all that to say that there is a lot of momentum behind Errol Spence Jr. right now. So one of the reasons for him to get out there and fight a Danny Garcia or fight a Manny Pacquiao right away is to keep that momentum. A pro of it is that it keeps that momentum going, right? And just keeps the big fights that are going that in this phase of his career, which is what he said he wants. He said that's why he said it's strap season. He wanted to get Sean Porter. He wants to get Manny Pacquiao, or he wanted Sean Porter. Now he couldn't get Manny Pacquiao right away, so that was Danny Garcia, then Manny Pacquiao, then he said he wants Keith Thurman, then he wants Terrence Crawford. So that keeps the momentum going. That's a big pro, and also it'll keep him from having an extremely long layoff. right, for him to get right back out there and fight. Now, the cons obviously is that, man, dude, you were just in this horrific car accident, man. And although you are cleared to fight and you're cleared to work out and it doesn't seem like there's any injuries, you can't help but, time can't do anything but help, unless that is you just gain a lot of weight, right? If you gain a lot of weight and you're not in the gym doing what you're supposed to do, keep doing a Bernard Hopkins. Because, man, if Bernard Hopkins wasn't super fit and super super focused, man, no way in the world he could have stayed at 160 pounds that long. Errol Spence Jr. could stay at 147 pounds for a long time too, if, the greasy bags that he likes to eat, after fights that he puts down. But, that's the pros. That's the pros of it. The cons of him going right back in is, again, that you miscalculate. There's something that is just, even though there's nothing you can see that's wrong, but there's something that isn't extremely right. And that, it's just, I would prefer to see him take an easy fight, take a tune-up fight, so he can balance the two things where he's not taking a long layoff. People get to see him in the fight. People are going to be excited just to see him fight, right? And say, oh, okay, man, he's healthy. Wow, boom, that was a 5th round stoppage. He looks like the same Errol Spence Jr. He took a couple punches well. His speed was excellent. He came in great shape. He finished the guy, and do it that way. I would prefer that to him getting right out there with a Danny Garcia or somebody like that, or Manny Pacquiao right away. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. I'm happy to see him in the gym, though. You let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out. Peace.